bitch.
Tits.
All right, that's the intro. What if I did that? Literally, that's not even long enough for the intro of the song thing to like fade in. Just that, and then the fucking drop of the intro. Actually, now it has been enough time.
What is
So
up, guys?
So if I included me saying the joke about me saying that I was going to do that, that joke is now going to. Okay. All right. So you lost your dog, Bobby?
I lost my dog. What is today? Wednesday. So Sunday night. My dog is afraid of my roommate. Which
Why?
is a bit of well, he's just a scary looking human being. He came back from Miami having like a hoarse voice, and this kid never shuts the fuck up. So it makes it even worse. Mm-hmm. And like he sounds like, I don't know, like a cancer patient, or like, you know how there's always that one really annoying girl with raspy voice? Like if I could rank the annoying voices on girls, it would be Cheeseburger Mouth, which Toby, I don't know if you want to give the definition of that one.
It's like a bitch that like really talks like she's got a cheeseburger in her mouth. Like she's midway through biting a fat bite of a cheeseburger and she speaks like this.
And then the other one is the girl that fucking like, you know exactly what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, Ray Romano is like the ultimate cheeseburger voice, I guess.
Zebra.
Yeah. Brendan.
I think Cheeseburger Mouth is more like Grease. I think it's not less like Rolly. I think it's less like
No, it's pretty out there like that.
That reminds me of like a fat what the fuck? How did I get here from my lost talk?
Yeah.
I was bored and started writing on it.
Oh, that's what that's from?
Yeah.
That's fun. I like that a lot. That was really funny.
And like all of his things were just about eating ass. Yeah. So he was on the beach. He would take a picture with some random girl being like, "Hi, nice to meet you. I eat ass." Next thing is like him at the bar being like, "Lost voice. Please feed me some ass."
Lost voice. I ate too much ass.
I mean, he was doing those for like 2 days straight, and then he comes back, walks in because we were house sitting for his mom. So instead of living at our house in college, we went home to his parents' house sat for like 4 days. And the first night he walks in, he says hi to my dog. And I'm like out throwing away garbage. And she just fucking bolts. She's gone for 8 hours. And I think it got almost close to freezing. And the way I got her home is because like I have like athlete's foot. My feet smell like shit. I left a pile of my socks because she just loves smelling my socks because it smells like shit. And then I finally got her at 5 a.m.
5 a.m. Damn.
I set an alarm every hour on the hour because I read on Google finding dogs at like, daylight, and during the night it's easier.
Oh, wait, did you get your idea for finding her on Google?
Yeah.
Ah, man. I was like impressed. I was like, oh, that's a
good
idea.
Not the socks thing. Not the socks thing. I'm talking about the timing.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's recommended that you go like wait 2 hours and then go again for 2 hours during the night because they are attracted to the flashlight when it has like a voice or whatever.
And they're attracted to 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, they're bi-hourly.
Yeah.
They going back to Anthony as well. This has made me realize like he is the king of making like a stupid joke or phrase go way longer than it should and still be funny. Like he just rinses a joke and it will still be pretty funny because you'll laugh at the original joke and then you'll laugh at him finding the joke funny,
still
being an asshole about it. Yeah, and still finding it funny, and his just like delivery and performance is just perfect.
We made $20,000 off of him in the past 3 days because one day in September I woke up and was like, "Yeah, you know what, man? It's a bad day. Like I feel like terrible. It's a really bad day." And then he was like, "What? Like did your grandma finally kick the bucket? What's going on? And I was like, no, it's just like a bad day to be a beer. And like, he loved that dad joke so much that it's something that he says all the time. And it got to the point where I was like, why not put this on a t-shirt?
Yeah.
It's just real bad dad.
No, if he listens to this, I should be getting money for that. I should be getting money.
Oh, you think he listens to this? No shot.
Oh yeah, I wanted to bring up, is it gross that I sneeze onto the floor in my room?
No.
Like
Where do
sneeze
you
as
think
in,
all the flicked boogers go?
Yeah, because I was gonna say, like, I feel like sneezing on the floor is way less gross than me like sneezing onto myself if I'm just by myself.
yeah. Like, are you
What do you mean sneezing on the floor though? Because I
just had
on the
sneeze.
floor? Actually, sneeze
And
not.
Well, I mean, a regular sneeze wouldn't be like that, but because I've just been sick, I did have a little wad of phlegm that landed on the ground. But I'd rather that be on the ground and dry up than be on my clothes.
I guess I don't hate it.
I mean, I prefer that.
To save doing laundry to avoid doing more laundry.
Like if you had if you phlegmed in your in your shirt versus on the, I'd prefer the phlegm. Just grab a tissue and pick it up and throw it out. But if
No, I'm not gonna. Do you think I'm gonna pick it up and throw it out?
Yeah, that's my thing. Why not? Why wouldn't you?
It's in like this corner of my room where I don't really go.
Your sneeze corner?
Found boogers later.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like everyone's college room, you guys, like every college guy has like a gross corner of his room.
I mean, my freshman year, I kids that were in my pledge class, like a roommate opened up, so I wanted to live with them, and I moved out of the dorm I was living in, and like I had to clean the fucking room, and one of my roommates never fucking cleaned. So like the deal was like I could move out, but I had to clean all the room and make sure it was tidy as fuck. I had to pick up a corner of this motherfucker's used condoms.
Ugh.
I got a bunch of paper towels and would just like, and like, you know how they're like used to the point where like it's just dry,
Yeah,
just flat. It looks like a fucking like
ice
balloon that went too high in the sky and then fell down.
Yeah,
one of those balloons that is sun fading in the middle of the street for like, and you pick.
Yeah,
and that was it. But no.
Wait, also briefly, have you been noticing Connell's audio cutting out, or is that just me?
I have as well. Yeah. Maybe it's because you burnt your microphone. No. You fucking dick.
It's because of this. All right.
Enhance.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I'll let you know if it cuts out.
Yeah, because I think it's this cable is very cheap. The cable that is USB to XLR is very cheap. I think because I'll see it on stream too. I edit all that out for the stream I posted on YouTube. It happens a lot whenever I move it or I stand up.
Related thing real quick.
What?
Let's talk about a work-related thing, but that also has to do so much with your personality.
Yeah, sure.
Wait. Can we let's just stick to one funny topic real quick. I mean, I want to talk about the gross corner of my room for like another minute.
I don't think it's that gross. I think it's gross that you leave it there. I don't think it's that gross that you would rather sneeze on the floor.
Yeah, but did you have a college roommate had a gross corner? Because my roommate had in the gap between the radiator and his bed, he just had like, I want to say at least 200 toenail clippings, and like just a towel of cum.
See, I didn't have a gross corner. I had a gross roommate. I had a roommate that was just like, people would come into our room and be like, dude, it smells bad. It smells bad in here.
Wait, like a roommate you didn't opt in living? Like
no, I opt into living with him. He's a nice guy, and I love him. If he's listening, I love him. But it's just that he smells like he never did laundry. He smells like shit. I had to have like 3 That's where my love for candles came from. I had to have like 3 candles. I would mop my fraternity house bedroom floor at least once a month in order to get this smell. I had to keep the windows open during the winter. And he'd be like, why is the window open? And I didn't want to tell it to him. I was just like, oh, I just like having, I prefer cold in here. And it's just like, he smelled like shit. So at least 3 people came in, at separate times being like, dude, it smells like shit in here. What are you guys doing in here? I'm like, it's him. I don't know how to, how do I say
him for a second? Is there any possible way that he was a first generation American with immigrant parents and he wore a lot of Aero?
No, he is an Irish guy that's my age from, I can't make fun of him. I don't want to make fun of him because he's such a nice guy. No, he is just a regular fucking dude that is very, like, he would.
What do you mean by regular, Connell?
He would, and I guess he's not, he would stay inside. He lived at the frat house and would stay inside his bedroom during parties.
Okay. So he's a little bit socially awkward.
Yeah, and very socially awkward. And it was, I feel for him. He's a great guy, but it's just like, shit. Like, I mean, if anything, I didn't care about that. I care about the fact that he's making our room smell like shit, and I have to like deal with it. I have candles everywhere. I'm clean. Like, and it just fucking annoyed the shit out. And I couldn't say it to him because remember how I mentioned that other kid a long time ago, I think in Backdeck, like that fat friend that smelled like shit, where anytime you brought it up, he would just be like, what are you talking about? What do you mean? What do you mean? And it's just like, and you can't, like, there's nowhere to go from there because he's denying it and it's still going to happen. So what do you do? You can't do anything. So it just sucked. That was my gross roommate fucking thing. I've never seen like a cum sock or anything like that though, from a roommate.
You guys ever came in a sock? I don't think I've ever done that in my life.
I've done it a bunch.
I've tried it. I tried it recently. Kind
of
helps.
Guys,
it helps with the grip. It helps make your hand more, like, feel more grippy.
No, I don't think so.
Well, for me it does.
Wait, you must like a really, really hard grip. Jesus.
I mean, I don't know. I guess
that must get. I feel like
that shit gets raw, bro.
Yeah. That would get the sensitivity all fucked up.
Not with. I mean, probably. Yeah. I think my dick sensitivity is all fucked up, but I mean, it's one of those things that you try when you're jerking off, and you like maybe. I don't do it anymore. I'm saying I tried it maybe 5 times. I'd say. Mm-hmm. And it was just like one of those things. It was like a phase. Connell's in a phase. He's going through a phase. Just me walking around the house with a fucking sock on my dick, jerking off. He's like, Connell, you got to use more lubricant, Connell.
Have you guys seen that porn? You see that porn video with Brandy Love and that other MILF where there's just this foreign exchange student and like he's just jerking off and Brandy Love's like he's adjusting to American culture. In his culture, this is completely normal.
I have seen porns like that. I know like the type of porn you're talking about, where they just like allow, like the premise is that that's already okay, and the girls don't care kind of thing. And they're like, well, I guess we have to do something, and they just like slide over there,
just start sucking his dick,
and like it's part of his culture.
I should say, what is wildly entertaining for me. First time, it was kind of the first time I put a sock on my dick, but like I put a sock on my dick and balls, so it was kind of like, it was probably gripped on, and then just started like, it was a longish sock, just started whipping my girlfriend in the face with the sock. It was a lot of fun.
Mr. Fantastic over here.
It felt like I had a giant dick almost, just like whipping her in the face with a giant dick. But
it's a giant flaccid dick. Do you really want that? Wouldn't you prefer your dick over a giant flaccid dick?
Dude, why do girls love flaccid penises so much?
Yeah.
Normalize it.
It's like a gummy worm. That's what
I actually think this is like become like a trend. Like, because fucking I'm a confirmed girlfriend guy. I always fucking basically had a girlfriend, whatever. And like
LB.
Only recently, within the past 3 months, since like the TikTok trend of like flaccid penises, squishy and fun, and now like every single time I have sex, I'm just like about to put my underwear on. She's like, "Come back here," and I'm like, "What? I can't go again." She's like, "Oh no, I don't want to fuck you again." And then
I've had the flicking.
Yeah,
I've had that one. Where she's just like, wow, look at that. And I'm just like, stop. It actually kind of hurts.
Exactly what they say. It's so
I mean, I'll admit it. I'll sometimes do that when I'm in the shower. I'm just like, whoop. It's just like, something like that. But I'm not like amazed by it. It's not a fucking eighth wonder.
Something I haven't tried. But I've always kind of seen it in porn and been frustrated by it, but also just like been like, I kind of want to try that. It's the like blowjob from flaccid to hard, where you just see it kind of grow.
Yeah, I mean,
it's the
practical drunk thing.
It's the sexual chia pet.
I think I've gone soft, but I've never gone from soft.
Dude,
to
you
hard.
probably have and just don't remember it, honestly.
Probably, yeah.
I'm getting like a blowjob at age 16 or something where you were a little bit too drunk, like for sure.
I know. I think I'd be too embarrassed about putting my flaccid penis in a girl's mouth to do that.
It's like,
to be honest,
yeah.
It'd just be like, it just would be like.
It's like that fork of spaghetti where you underestimated, or you like how you didn't really get all of it in, and you're just kind of you just kind of do the tongue thing. We try to like loop around, like yep, like that sort of shit. Yep, like not like a finishing of a milk mustache, like it's like an open mouth kind of like that. Because it needs to go in the mouth. The spaghetti needs to go in the mouth. So you have to keep your mouth open. And you're just like,
dude, I don't know why. It's getting funnier every time.
I also want to get woken up. Sexually assault me, please do. I mean, in the one sense of I don't want to consent to a blowjob ever. Basically, I
have like, that sort of fantasy where I want to make sure it's okay with her, of course, but I want to be like, I want to fuck you when you're sleeping. Like, I want as long as she says it's okay, as long as she's like, yeah, do it whenever, you know, as long as she says it's okay.
You don't want to just stay asleep. You just want it to be like a little surprise.
Yeah, I want it to be like at least maybe a minute or 2 minutes of me doing something, and then she wakes up and is like, oh yeah, and then gets into it, kind of thing.
I had a deal.
I don't have that. I just want to be like wake up to getting head.
Both are very normal, I think.
Yeah.
But I had a deal with my ex-girlfriend because my thing would always be like, I get too drunk, so she would fucking oftentimes do it to like it was worse during probably like my worst phase of alcoholism, like blacking out every night. She would fucking do it to me, but like with other girls, I've had it with like in the morning pretty much every single time I wake up with my girlfriend now. Like she sleeps till 11:30. I wake up at 8:30 for work. Like, but you know, fucking I've already like I'm almost like a third through my workday by the time she wakes up, but I'm trying to bust. So like I think
pretend to go back to sleep. So that way she wakes up at the same time so you can get some waking up head.
No, but I think like you're right because I know like I always try to do maybe a little something, but like it's very clearly because you know at that point in the morning there's no communication. So if she there's like just two noises she makes and is like a no. Like
yeah, I know exactly what you mean. It's like that's like you're spooning and then you slip it in and it's like a little yeah. And then,
so I mean like basically kids at the end of the day consent either comes down to
yeah.
It's like the Bill Burr thing where it's like no doesn't mean no. No means no, but no, stop it. No, that doesn't mean no. That means I don't want to admit that I want to do this, but keep going. Yeah.
Girls are weird, man.
Yeah, fuck women.
I have to say that there's peak horniness is definitely after I'm too drunk to fuck during the night when I wake up next to you. I think I'm never more horny in my life.
Yeah, because you're thinking about there's a Rolodex of mistakes you made in your head.
I think it's more of like.
I don't really find it a mistake. I think morning sex is way better than like
leaves next morning. See, you're a snorer too, so you understand this. especially with one night stands as a snorer. I've never had a one night stand like stay till the time I wake up. Because I mean, it's only happened in a college setting, so we're not talking about like somewhere they'd have to Uber, really. But you know, it's all about the girls that like you enough or have learned to like you enough to where they just deal with your snore.
Well, the thing is, I'm even more of an asshole about it because during college, all my like one night or a few night stands, I would always I never fucked in my college bedroom ever. I was always at the girls' place.
Wow, that's impressive.
That's king shit.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm staying there, bitch. I don't know about you. I'm a snore.
You like take over you take over the room with your snoring. It's like it's like a siren.
I'm here now.
Yeah, you walk in and just start snoring like a siren.
Dude, I guarantee you with how bad your snoring is, like there's been roommates that have like texted her passive aggressively being like, hey, I hear it from the other room. When is that boy leaving?
And freshman year it was more of a like my like also I don't know. For me it was always more of a like I feel less awkward if we already are set on your room. Like even though it works more tricky, but I find like it's more like consent because I know if you're bringing me into your room, like you want to come with, like you want me to come over. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I was always like I prefer that, and also just like having to deal with my shitty.
You've had also shitty roommate situations.
I've always had shitty roommate situations. Like I've never had a good roommate situation.
Yeah. So
including me.
Oh, I mean, that's like housemates.
Yeah, I know.
That's
It's separate categories, way above that. Yeah.
Housemates, I could hate you. I'd be fine. Like,
nah, I disagree.
I agree.
I think it all matters on living on a different floor. You live on the same floor as somebody, you can hate them. But if there's a set of stairs, like if they have to walk upstairs to piss you off, or you have to walk downstairs to have to see them, that's the big barrier.
Yeah. I mean, I think it was kind of different with Toby and I, where it was like, I really only was in Toby's bedroom or whatever for when I was sleeping. Like, as long when I was up, I was, downstairs or something like that, So,
yeah, but it was also, I mean,
but we're friends.
Friends for a while.
No, we're not.
It was somewhat of a short-term living situation, and you had constantly other people, going in and out.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm just saying, like, obviously, if we didn't like each other and this was like a frat house, we would probably spend way more time in our rooms. Yeah. But yeah, as long as just my direct roommate. I also don't really have. You can be my roommate, and I can hate you. Like my roommate, who I now look back on and be like, I don't like you. Both of them. It's more of a like looking back in the past, like just my own willingness to make things work. I will like you and make my interests around you to be like similar, so we have something to talk about. What you're saying,
yeah.
Enough that I won't realize I don't like you until you leave.
Yeah,
I don't have that.
I've done that. I did that especially. I mean, we talked about this on one of the Back Deck podcasts, which I posted of like friends, what is that thing that you finally figure out that they did that you're no longer friends, you stop talking to them and stuff like that. And I think it's different for roommates where it's like you kind of have to have leeway with it because like you have to be like allowing these people to do these things because you're like, well, I have 5 more months with you, like that sort of shit where it's like, well, whatever, like I guess I won't invite you to smoke with me anymore, something like that, like something small.
Yeah.
Well, Bobby, you actually balls it. You moved, right? You moved rooms in your freshman year, right?
Yeah, I mean,
well, you got rid of your first roommate and moved rooms?
No, they put us like TCU was like they didn't have enough room on campus, so a room that's literally meant for 2 people max, they stuck. I was the last person to sign up, so they stuck like 6 people in a situation where it's supposed to be 4 people max, and all of us were vastly different. But like apart from like me and this other guy didn't really connect that well. And we're also it's just so different because there was one kid that was more introverted than Will is, and one kid that's more extroverted than I am, to the point where it's like, all right, man, like you're coming home on Wednesdays screaming at 1:30. So the whole thing was insane. Like I was so happy to get the fuck out of there.
Mm-hmm.
Who's Will?
Connell, fuck me.
Yeah. I mean, I had the roommate. If we're sticking on roommates, I had my freshman year. It was me and the 2 guys that I was rooming with. 3 people in the room. 2 guys that were there went to the same high school and decided to live together in the same dorm. And I was the 3rd guy. I was the 3rd wheel. But one of the guys bailed out within the first week. Is that Rowan?
College?
Yeah, and went to I think he took like a couple months off, but then went to like TCU or whatever. But obviously never saw him again. So we had this 3rd bed. It's like a bunk bed and then another regular bed here.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's a bunk bed and then a bed that's up top kind of thing. And my desk was underneath there. So he got the bottom, whatever, it doesn't matter. Anyway, that top bunk though, like 3 months in, are like roommates, dorm room roommates, like people in a separate dorm near you. He came up and knocked on my door and was like, "Hey man, my friend just got kicked out of his dorm, got kicked off campus, and got arrested. Can he sleep in your bed? I know you have a free bed." And so we had this how do I say this? We had a very large African American man with 2 very skinny white people living in one room, and
for an
we never
extended period.
Yeah, for at least 3 months. And
Jesus Christ!
What?
This guy was like not paying rent.
What?
Well, he was. No, this is freshman year. Like we already.
Yeah, but
paid
this
for
is
our tuition.
underground. Like campus does not know about.
Yeah, they don't know about this.
How
This
is
is like the
not
most-
come up? This is absurd.
This is how the things that you just don't bring up. This is like the most like the perfect example of how
Pledging a frat at the time, so I was like, "That's not the worst thing that's happening right now. Go ahead, yeah, come on, like, let's go." I just listened to Crazy Frog for 5 hours on repeat, blindfolded. I specifically remember the day when we got into our frat. Like the morning, it was the last day. Like the last thing we had to do was like a whole night and morning thing. So 7:30, roommate who were, we both pledged the same fraternity. We're walking back to our dorm, and it's 7:30 in the morning. We walk in, and he like wakes up and kind of sits up on the bed, and it's just like, "Hey, what's up, guys?" And we're like happy because we just got in. We're like, we got in, and we're like,
Yeah.
"Hey, we just got into AXP, man." And he's like, "Nice," and just just falls back to sleep. And then I think he was there for like 2 more days or whatever. And that was it. Like we never said goodbye. I never got a thank you from his friend that like asked if he could live there or anything like that. Like that was it. He just was there and then wasn't.
you
there.
guys just wouldn't talk like while he was in the
No,
room?
we would like if we saw him walk in. Like he mostly came here just to sleep. He was never in the dorm. Usually when I wake up, he was never there.
So he's pretty much more or less an ideal roommate.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. Like I never had any. The only interaction I really the most like crazy interaction I had was the one I just said, where he was like, "That was funny that we just got in." He says, "Oh yeah," and falls back to sleep. Every other time was like us going, "Hey, what's up, man?" And he just hops in the bed and goes to sleep. It was kind of like an Always Sunny situation with the old guy living in the thing,
yeah,
where they're just like, where they just kind of just like ignore it after a point. They just kind of deal with it. Like it wasn't. I'm not saying that in the sense.
Did he ever bring a girl over?
No. I don't think I even knew his name. Like it's just like it's just a guy. It was just a guy. I don't know. It was just a guy that slept in
What
the
the
room.
fuck?
That's it. It was just a guy. He was nice. He wasn't mean. Like it's whatever.
This is the guy. I'm
He's
trying
the
to
guy.
imagine you try to explain like you bring a girl over, and like you don't even notice that he's in the top bunk, and then she brings it up to you, being like,
Yeah.
"But your roommate's here." "Oh, he's not my roommate."
Yeah.
what the fuck is he doing in your bed?
Imagine
He's just
you're
the guy that
fucking
goes
girl,
there and sleeps.
and you get a text from a random number saying, "Hey man, I got a test tomorrow. Can you go to bed?" And you're like, "Well, I guess this is this guy. I don't fucking know."
Yeah. Those kind of
he cash apps you to go to her house.
Yeah. He was a nice guy, though. You know, no ill intentions. It's more of a funny scenario rather than anything else. You know.
Yeah, that's you and like you were being like, oh, you don't really have that many stories from. I mean, you do, but like not really having that many stories from college in terms of like crazy parties or anything like that. But then you just like bring up like, yeah, I just had a chicken in my room, and then you also had. These didn't coincide with one each other, right?
No.
At different time periods, you were kicked off of campus, owned a chicken in your room because somebody just offered you a chicken and you didn't have, because of your anxiety, you just accepted taking care of the chicken.
Yeah.
And then you also, because of your anxiety, just were okay with a stranger living with you for 3 months.
Yeah.
Like where your TV is, where your PS4 is. Like,
I mean, he wasn't like, I don't know. It wasn't a big deal. Like I said, he only came here to sleep. Like I never saw, like Luke and I, Luke, my roommate at the time, we would hang out in the dorm all the time and drink, have drinking nights or whatever, stuff like that. He would ever like, he wasn't ever like a burden.
Was this sophomore year?
It was freshman year.
Freshman year.
This is like 2 months into freshman year.
Dude, that's
so funny.
That's really funny though. Yeah.
Also, do you guys ever encounter the douchebags that had like risers on their bed and not a bed under it? And they were like, dude, I got a fucking beanbag down here.
That was my bed. But my desk was under there. But I know what you're talking about. That like kind of tricked it out.
Like,
yeah, it's called stadium seating. So you have the guys watching the game or whatever on the top bunk, and then you have the couch underneath.
Yeah.
That way you can have like 6 guys watching a game or some shit.
Yeah, 6 guys. Nothing better than 6 guys.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, it was kind of fun, but I also despise how like arsehole they were about like, I fucking changed the game with these risers, man. Like,
dude, that's the funniest thing college freshmen did.
Wait,
they think they're like fucking
architects.
Home Improvement.
Yeah. Tim Allen.
After literally just like pushing a button and bringing it up like 4 levers, they're like, I mean, do I have to change my major now? What's good?
Yeah. Look at all this room I have now for my mirror I can look at myself in. Like,
think about how many activities I could do.
I think the worst roommate you could possibly have is a roommate that's always in your room gaming, but not a game that you enjoy. Like not a game that you like at
Overwatch.
all.
Interested? But I'm just interested enough that I want to be like, oh,
there's so many colors exploding on that screen.
Yeah, there must be something going on there.
The roommate that has the video game volume on like 80, so you can hear the gunshots.
Yeah, I need to hear the footsteps.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I had a good, like, that's the one safe, like, I think for so many college roommate relationships for guys, the one saving grace can be someone having a PS4 and an Xbox in their room, because like I didn't really like have anything in common with my roommate, and I started playing 2K, and that was like the best time. We had a great time fucking banging out 2K, doing little wages.
Yeah, that's what helped me with my roommate too, where it was like I had an Xbox, and like I was he liked I think it was when Fallout 4 came out or whatever. I know, nerdy, whatever. But he was like, yeah, I love Fallout. And we would like, take turns playing our own characters and talk about it, blah, 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 all that shit.
Like if you're a parent and or equally if you're a guy who doesn't think you're going to be doing that, first of all, if you're a guy who goes into college being like, oh, I'm just going to be getting pussy, why did I bring my Xbox? You're an asshole. You definitely should bring your Xbox. And if you're a parent who's like, oh, my kid's going there to study and, experience college, you shouldn't bring his gaming thing in there. He's not going to study or, experience life. Like, fuck you. You're an asshole. Again, like, that's like, I think especially with someone who doesn't have like great social skills, or even anyone that you just want to bond over with your roommate. It's like a fucking vital thing.
Isn't it insane that we went at least for me, because I know the UK is a little different, but probably Connell in the same light, went from having practice in the morning, showering, going to school for 8 hours, and then having 2 more hours of practice, going home, doing homework, maybe getting an hour of Netflix or video games, maybe 2 hours, and then sleeping.
I mean, I never had morning practice.
Occasionally, maybe, let's just say in the case, like it's an average thing.
Yeah, I know. Yes, yeah.
An American athlete or whatever. And then you go to college and it's like,
yeah,
like class is canceled. My only class of the day. Like my entire grade project is due in 2.5 months in multiple classes.
Yeah.
Like I'm literally just going to smoke weed all day and do nothing.
The best part about it was like, I'm going to use quotes. I was quote unquote forced to do sports when I was in high school. Like I had to do a sport every season, and my parents, and then when I got to college, they were like, so you're going to do a sport, right? And I go, yeah, maybe. So I get to college like a week in, they call me. So what sport you doing? I'm like, I'm not going to do a sport, I don't think. And they go, what? Why not? It's like, I'm not good at any of them. I don't really care. I don't really want to do sports. Like, and they acted like I just told them like I was gay and they needed to like adjust to it or something. Like it was like an adjustment for them. They were like, okay, yeah, that's okay, yeah, that's okay. Yeah. Like they had to like take a step back, even though like I hated doing it. I hated like the only reason why I hated doing sports because they forced me to do it. I like running. I don't mind running. I don't mind tennis. I like all that shit. It's just the fact that whatever. But there's like that feeling of like as soon as I got to college, I was like, oh my God, that's right. I don't actually have to do any of this shit. I don't have to do any of this shit anymore. Oh my God, this is amazing. I'm gonna fail all my classes, and I did.
And then it's crazier because then like, you have your adjustment period, college or whatever. But in some capacity, I would say we've entered the real world. With TFM kind of having some corporate structure, whatever, working full-time jobs. Nobody knows what the fuck they're doing, ever.
Yeah.
Like when I talk to marketing people that work for other big companies, I just think to myself, like,
I love that pause. I talk to guys important stuff about important things. It's weird, dude.
No, it's just you realize that like even the richest of people have no idea what the fuck they're talking about.
I mean, I realized that when I worked for my dad. There was like the same way, because that's like even more, I guess, stereotypically corporate than us. And it's just like, I mean, it comes with like, especially realizing like, because I was a bit younger too, and it's just your realization that adults are just like not different than you, and like, I don't know, it was really nice, but it's also weird, and it's also a bit like, oh, fuck you for building this all up,
No,
like,
dude, I'm pissed. Like I spent the last year so angry just knowing that like now I've transferred to state schools, partly because I'm working a job and some other things or whatever, to a state school that I could have gotten straight C's in high school and gone to state school. I didn't need to do the thousands of hours of shit I did for a resume or like character building or anything. I could have just chilled out.
I think it's fucked though, because it builds up this like, it's like the same way that when someone tells you drugs are bad and then you try a drug and you're like, drugs aren't fucking bad. Fuck you.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's like the same level of like, you told me a lie, so I'm now going to double down even harder on the one thing you told me not to do.
Yeah, but
no, I think it starts off with Santa Claus when you're like 7 years old. And then like when you're 13, 14, it's like drugs and alcohol. And by like your first internship, when you're 20, 21, whatever it may be, you just realize like everybody's a dickhead. Yeah. Nobody here knows what they're talking about. Like, dude, our high of bosses, who's just not going to watch this, is like worth $200 million. And I'm like, he's definitely worked his ass off. Like, because that's really what making money is about. But I'm just talking to him. And he's like, yeah, that's a good idea. And I'm like, I came up with that idea like high as fuck and wrote it in my notes app.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
what?
I mean, that there is something to say though about like, especially for the parents of us, like I mentioned, or like even your dad, Toby, where it's like they do, because they push that on you of like all this responsibility before you got that again, and you're like, but then as soon as you have something you're interested in, you're like, well, my parents did it like this, I'm gonna do it like this, kind of thing. Like that's a good, I learned this from my parents, I'll do it like this, so it does help. But I think we all need that grace period.
I think it gets less to do with like, yes, it was a startup. It wasn't like fucking Goldman Sachs or some
Wall
shit
Street.
where like a giant company with all this shit. But like people would still like fucking and like among my team of like people, I'm working in fucking the most boring area of finance and like corporate governance. Yeah. So like it's the people on your team who are your age are going to be like you and fucking idiots who are like 25 to like 20 to 30. Like you're going to be talk about like fucking, like I had guys, go to the pub after and you're talking about like who you fucked last week and was she from the office next to you, and like looking at girls' asses at lunch and being like, that's a nice ass,
Yeah.
Yeah.